So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 20 of our season 3 here on F1 Manager 23. Now just a quick one before we start, we did hit 500 subscribers recently. This is the first episode I've recorded since we've done that, so thank you to each and every one here who has subscribed. And if you've not subscribed, why not do that now while we're on this little intro? But let's have a look at what happened last time out in Austin, because it was a decent result for us. Charles Leclerc won the Grand Prix, Lando Norris in P3, Pierre Gasly in P6. Max Verstappen now has actually achieved the Drivers' Championship. He has got it wrapped up. George Russell's in P2. We are doing everything we can with Lando Norris to try and catch George Russell. And Pierre Gasly equally overtook Carlos Sainz, and he's now looking up rather than down. Could he possibly catch Checo Perez? Let me know down in the comments if you believe that he can. We are, of course, this weekend going to Mexico. 71 laps around here. Charles Leclerc holds the lap record. Car attributes, high speed is recommended. It's pretty crucial, as well as the low speed cornering. And the expected strategy, you can try a one stop or maybe you can do a two stop. We will see some variation in strategy, I am sure. But apart from that, just to bring you up to date on where we are with the car part development, of course we are not developing this year's car anymore now. We are still ranked first on the grid for high speed cornering, but low speed, it must be said, we're not very good. But we're all focused on next year's car now. But all that being said, I'm going to get through practice and I shall see you in qualifying for the Mexico Grand Prix. Here we are then, ladies and gents, coming towards the end of Q3. We can see Lando Norris going through the stadium section. Is he going to improve on his first lap? It's not looking like it. Lando Norris currently in P4. Leclerc on pole. Checo Perez actually crashed out in Q2, so he's all the way down in P14 or P15. Lando Norris comes across the line, still in P4 at the moment. Gasly is green through the first and second sectors. Is Pierre Gasly going to spring a surprise here at the end? Pierre Gasly jumps up to provisional P5 as we fast forward on towards the end. That would be a really decent starting position from our two guys tomorrow, and it looks like we are going to get it. This could be a huge weekend in the constructors' standings. Leclerc is on pole from Verstappen and Russell. Norris in P4, Gasly in P5. But look at that, Checo Perez all the way down there on to Sunday. Right then, guys, strategy time, and P4, P5 as we know, and we are going for the two-stop. We've got two fresh sets of soft, we've got a fresh set of medium compounder tyres. That apparently is a lot quicker than the one-stop, so that's what we're going to go for. Both cars on the exact same strategy. Let's just go for it here, because we could get some really significant points over Ferrari.
We're nearly ready to get started here. 71 laps, 17 turns. It's the Mexico City Grand Prix. And for that man, Mick Schumacher, this could be an interesting race.
They've done really well to secure a P7 start. Some solid points could be on the cards today.
And it looks like we're good to go. What will happen next? We're about to find out at the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and we are going to follow this battle with Charles Leclerc off the line with George Russell and Lando Norris. He's looking incredibly interested straight away. Can he possibly make up a couple of positions here? He's looking to get past, I believe that's Max Verstappen on the inside. Lando Norris round the outside into turn one. It will then turn into the outside again, and Lando Norris looks like he's possibly attacking Max Verstappen. Pierre Gasly under pressure from Valtteri Bottas in the Audi Sport car. Must be said, Audi Sport are a team that we could very much be interested in next season, and maybe very interested in us as well. They look like a team who are progressing, and it possibly would suit us. So let me know down in the comments, Andretti or Audi, one of the A's, which A would your money be on? But we have managed to fend off Valtteri Bottas on the Audi Sport car. He's on 89% softs, but we are both looking very, very decent at this start. If we can tag onto the back of the Red Bulls and the Ferraris, this will help our race massively. But as we come to the end of lap one, Leclerc has held off the challenge from Russell and Verstappen. We've got the two Andretti Cadillacs of Norris and Gasly, then Bottas and Schumacher in the two Audis, Albon, Porsche and Lance Stroll down in P10. And on lap 3, Lando Norris has got Max Verstappen. It was a lovely move down the inside, under braking. And Lando Norris is up into the podium positions. Fantastic work from him. He's now got to tag onto the back of George Russell and Pierre Gasly. His teammate is quite chuffed with that, because he was struggling to stay in the DRS. But Lando Norris now very much is. He's still pushing on Lando Norris, trying to keep up with George Russell. But the two in front are fighting. We have got a crash on circuit. Yuki Tsunoda crashing into turn, I think 15 or 16. I can't remember which one it was, but Yuki Tsunoda smashing into the curb there. I mean, he collected a Williams as well. Yuki Tsunoda being very aggravated on the radio, as we saw in the first race of the season. And we have just seen a Red Bull spinning into the curb, and that was Max Verstappen spinning off. That is so significant. Let's have a look at this. Max Verstappen, he's already got the Drivers' Championship in hand. Maybe he's had a few too extra tequilas this weekend, but that is Max Verstappen. And oh my word, he's going to be so frustrated. We do not see those sort of mistakes often from the Dutch driver, and you can see how disappointed they are in the Red Bull garage. Very disappointed indeed, but we're not, because now we are P3 and P4, and hopefully Pierre Gasly now can tag onto the back of his teammate Lando Norris. You join us back on lap 10. George Russell is leading from Leclerc, but as you can see, Lando Norris has now pulled right up to the back of these two cars that have been battling, allowing us back into the fold. And Pierre Gasly now is sat behind his teammate Lando Norris. We've pulled a 2-second, or nearly a 3-second gap on the Audi Sport cars. This is looking very promising indeed for the Andretti Cadillac boys. Both of us are now just looking after his tyres and starting to even look at charging up his DRS a little bit. So both cars now doing what they need to do and staying in the DRS. We'll have a full rundown. It's Russell from Leclerc, Norris, Gasly, Schumacher, Bottas, Albon and Stroll. It's 2x2 at the moment. Pourchaire and De Vries. It'd be nice to see Pourchaire have a decent race this weekend, because he's had a few spins in recent weeks after such a blinding start to the season. All the way at the back is Yuki Tsunoda, who's having a shocking Grand Prix. Max Verstappen in P18, and where is Checo Perez? P17 for the man at his home Grand Prix. My word, the Mexican fans are not going to be happy with this. Lando Norris has got Charles Leclerc. Let's have a look at this. Lando Norris now running in P2, and Charles Leclerc ran wide. That allowed Lando Norris to go through, and it's now George Russell from Lando Norris as they go through the stadium section. Pierre Gasly is up into P3, but Lando Norris is on the back of George Russell. He's topping up his energy. It is Lando Norris, and this is boding very well indeed now. It's P2 and P3 for the Andretti boys. And on lap 16, Lando Norris leads the Mexican Grand Prix. He's got George Russell. We've been tagging onto the DRS beautifully, it must be said, and we are making these tyres work now. Lando Norris now leads the Mexican Grand Prix. Lovely work from him. Pierre Gasly still sat comfortably in P3. We've not been cooking as tyres. We are going to get to our pit window with decent tyres left, and this bodes very well indeed for us at this moment in time. Lap 16. It's got to be said, at this moment in time, lap 18, you can see Lando Norris is back in front of George Russell once again, and Pierre Gasly's enjoying this because they're just holding each other up to allow Pierre Gasly to tag on. We are going to be pitting in around 2 or 3 laps time, but as we can see, that double helping a DRS is absolutely huge around here, and it's just allowing Gasly to stay in touching distance. He's fighting off Charles Leclerc at this moment in time as well, and at the moment, Ferrari are going to lose significant ground to us in the Constructors' standings. Lap 18. And as we come to the end of lap 18, we've seen Charles Leclerc get Pierre Gasly. He just dropped back a little bit, did Pierre Gasly, and Charles Leclerc with that DRS decided to make the move. But that might now help him, because he can tag onto the back of this Ferrari. We are onto the medium tyre next, and then onto the softs at the end. So we've got a variation in strategy. Maybe we'll have to see how far Charles Leclerc goes. Maybe they'll try the one stop, but Lando Norris is still fighting with George Russell and doing a fantastic job. We'll come back when we're to the pit stops. We have got a yellow flag on circuit, and unfortunately it's going to concern one of our cars. This is a highlight of Lando Norris and George Russell. Now, he's forced a bit wide there, is Lando Norris. They are really going at it, and then again, George Russell giving him absolutely no space. And again, through the stadium section, and then they collide. Let's have a look at this. This is shocking from George Russell. I mean, he's shoving him off the circuit there. And then look at this. Lando Norris just tries to get back on the circuit, and then there's a collision between the Andretti and the Red Bull. Neither car will be happy with that. It looks like they are both gonna be impacted by this, but we have now got to look at getting Lando Norris in. Lando Norris is coming into the pits. Pierre Gasly will be in on the next lap. Pierre Gasly will be so disappointed he's not really made that count. Leclerc's a little bit up the road now, but Lando Norris and George Russell both into the pits. Lando Norris coming in for the mediums. It was about his stop time as well, but this is going to really damage his race, this, because we really didn't need this. George Russell looks like he's doing exactly the same. And Lando Norris 8.6 seconds, and just to add insult to injury, gets held but does get out well. George Russell does, and we will now be back in front, but Pierre Gasly will be in this lap. And into the pits is going to be coming Pierre Gasly. Charles Leclerc has stayed out. Now, we've got to pit Pierre Gasly. His tyres are going off. This was the plan all along. He lost a bit of time to Leclerc, as we saw. Dived out of the way of Lando Norris, which was disappointing. But here we go. Pierre Gasly in to the pits. Lando Norris is in P12. He's behind Mick Schumacher at this point in time. Pierre Gasly, it's a 3-second stop. Not bad at all. Lando Norris, as we can see, is trying to close up towards Mick Schumacher, but Pierre Gasly is going to be trundling out. I'm hoping he's going to get out in front of this little pack. Schumacher comes round. Pierre Gasly into clean air, and now it is hammer time, so he can catch back up with Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris fighting with the Williams behind him of Giovinazzi, who has just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Lando Norris is having to sit in behind a Williams. Charles Leclerc is coming out of the pit lane onto soft compound tyres. Pierre Gasly is quite some distance back. Is he going to have gained on the Ferrari driver? As we flick back towards Pierre Gasly's point of view, we can see Charles Leclerc on his right-hand side, and Pierre Gasly is into the net lead of the Grand Prix. Checo Perez is having a shocking weekend. He has just had a pit stop issue. Let's have a look at this. For Checo, my word, it's been such a bad weekend for Checo Perez, and it continues, my word. That is such a bad stop from the Ferrari boys. But Pierre Gasly now back in front of Charles Leclerc. He can calm down on the tyres a little bit. That's going to help him massively. Norris has actually been overtaken by George Russell, which is not ideal at all, because he's got an Audi in front of him, Valtteri Bottas. So Lando Norris now, really, without DRS, needs to stay with George Russell. Charles Leclerc has got Pierre Gasly, and it must be said, it's going to help with that DRS. Of course, he's on softs, we're on mediums. We're going to be quicker than this Ferrari at the end of this Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly is fighting for the win of this Grand Prix today. And Charles Leclerc, it must be said, will now want to put some distance between himself and the Gasman. Gasly is still within half a tenth of a second, but he's just got to ensure that he stays in the DRS. Lap 27. Lance Stroll has pit from the lead of the Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc now takes over. It was the net leader anyway, but Charles Leclerc takes over. Pierre Gasly following him. We, of course, are going to be quicker at the end, so I'm not too concerned at this moment in time about Pierre Gasly. Lando Norris is starting to now make some moves, and he's going to get Valtteri Bottas here. As we can see, the DRS wide open, and he can see George Russell in front of him. This might be a good time to push with Lando Norris and try and catch George Russell in front. He's 3 seconds back, but once again, he's going to be on the softs towards the end. We have got another crash on circuit. This is a very eventful Grand Prix, and it looks like it concerns. Is that Mick Schumacher or is that Valtteri Bottas? Valtteri Bottas just clipping the back of Kevin Magnussen. We can see Max Verstappen there. Kevin Magnussen's took that really, really well on the radio. So Magnussen, look at the disappointment. I mean, I don't even know who's more disappointed out of these two. The facial expressions there, my word. Pierre Gasly at this moment, 5.9 seconds back from Charles Leclerc. Leclerc looks like he's got this one today, but again, I'm hoping that tyre offset's going to work in our favour towards the end. Lando Norris is battling his way back through at this moment in time. Russell's tyres are starting to go off significantly, and now we are looking to push on and try and catch the Mercedes driver. We'll have a full rundown as we're nearly halfway through. Leclerc from Gasly, Mick Schumacher in P3, then comes Giovinazzi, Russell, Norris, Ocon, Pocher, Albon, Checo Perez somehow is in P10. There's been another crash on circuit. Carlos Sainz in the Mercedes car fighting with Lance Stroll, and my word, these drivers, it's getting towards the business end of the season that I've heard a lot of expletives. If I had a swear jar this afternoon, I'd be a very rich man. But Lando Norris now 1.1 seconds. Esteban Ocon's tyres are pretty good at this moment. So we're trying to use this, catch back up with Ocon, and then hopefully he will guide us towards Russell. George Russell, it must be said, he's getting back towards Pierre Gasly, but Pierre Gasly's tyres, and again, we are going to be quick towards the end. So at this moment, we are still performing rather well here. Gasly's lapping quicker than Russell and Schumacher. It's working okay. 39 laps gone. Lando Norris is having such a frustrating Grand Prix every time. I think we're just about where we want to be. Alexander Albon this time, diving down the inside of him on the soft compounded tyre. And Lando Norris now is down to, I believe that's P8. My word, Lando Norris. And look at this big DRS train here. The gap between Schumacher and Perez. Look at this gang of cars here. My word, Pierre Gasly's quite fortunate there at the moment. He's just getting to do his own thing and drive away. George Russell is in to the pits for another set of soft compound tyres. He has gone medium soft softs today as George Russell, and he's going to be looking to get an undercut on Lando Norris. Lando Norris, it must be said at this moment, he's still fighting with Esteban Ocon. George Russell is looking to get the undercut on us. We will possibly come in next lap for Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly at the moment in P2, still trundling along nicely. Lando Norris on lap 48 is coming into the pits. We want to cover off George Russell with the undercut. So Lando Norris is in. It's a couple of laps earlier than I possibly wanted to do, but I felt it was necessary. I didn't think the overcut would work too well. We saw how powerful the undercut was earlier with Pierre Gasly. It's a 3.3 second stop. Where is George Russell? Coming round the final corner. Lando Norris trundling out of the pit lane. This is a big moment in this Grand Prix, and I think George Russell is going to get it. He certainly is. George Russell is out. We can see Lando Norris, but that has really now... Lando Norris is still very much in this fight and on the back of George Russell. Gasly in this lap. And into the pits comes Pierre Gasly on lap 49. It must be said, Lando Norris at the moment, he's doing his utmost to keep up with George Russell. He's burning everything to get in the DRS of George Russell. And let's... Oh, no way are we having a bad pit stop. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best. That is a bad pit stop when we needed it least from the Andretti boys. Now, where is George Russell and Giovinazzi? They are coming around the final corner. Gasly, who's been clear of this fight, is now out behind Giovinazzi, but crucially in front of George Russell. For lap 49, we did not need a bad pit stop there. Lap 51, it's all happening once again, and as we can see, Pierre Gasly now is on the back of Giovinazzi. This is going to help us. We could do with Pierre Gasly getting close and getting past, it must be said, because at this moment I'd like to put a car between us and the Red Bull car. Lando Norris is 1.7 seconds back, but can't catch up to George Russell today. Charles Leclerc is yet to pit at this moment in time. His last lap was a 120.0. Gasly's a 117.5, so we've gained a lot on Charles Leclerc, but we're just calming it down a little bit on the tyres now. It's working for us, but we've got 20 laps to go. It's going to be very tight towards the end. Leclerc is in. We are going to watch this pit stop. Wouldn't it be a shame if Ferrari had a bad pit stop here? It's not that we're willing another team to do badly, but we are a little bit. Charles Leclerc, is it going to be a good pit stop? It looks very good. It's very slick indeed. My word, great stop from the Red Bull guy, from the Ferrari guys. Leclerc comes trundling out. Where is Pierre Gasly? Not even around the final corner yet. He is going to get the chance to get Giovinazzi here, and this is absolutely crucial. Pierre Gasly, you can see the Ferrari as we go on the cockpit cam. We can see now Pierre Gasly looking for a move on Giovinazzi. Can't quite get past him. We are going to have to tell him to be aggressive on the overtakes here, because he needs to get this done down the next DRS straight, because Giovinazzi is holding us up. It is 3.2 seconds the gap to Leclerc. Will Pierre Gasly manage to make a move here? It doesn't look like he will, and that's disappointing. Lap 52. But a lap later, Pierre Gasly got him. He got him with the DRS. We can see Charles Leclerc in front there, but Pierre Gasly now is up. I believe that's net P2 for Pierre Gasly, and that is not going to harm our chances anyway at all. We're hoping now we could possibly drop Giovinazzi is the plan, but Giovinazzi is sticking to us like, well, very, very closely indeed, it must be said. Lando Norris now, though, is fighting with George Russell. He's looking left and right, and Lando Norris is fancying a battle with this Red Bull today. It's all happening here in Mexico. It's going to be a very, very exciting finish. And Lando Norris has got George Russell. What an important move this could be in the grand scheme of things, because Lando Norris down the inside got the job done into the double right-hander and now has Giovinazzi in front of him, and Pierre Gasly might get the opportunity to run away a little bit here. He's still pushing on the fuel, is Lando Norris. We may have to just make sure we monitor that. But at this moment in time now, Pierre Gasly is getting very, very close to breaking the DRS of Giovinazzi, and we've got a yellow flag once again on circuit. Let's have a look who it possibly is this time. It's De Vries running wide on turn 11. Let's have a look.
Okay, so
As it can be done here. It's not costing too much there, Nick De Vries. It's just a little bit messy from Nick De Vries. But Gasly is catching up to a car in front and possibly may get DRS. What a move from Lando Norris. He's got Giovinazzi. Beautiful work from Lando. And he's not only put a Williams between himself and George Russell. There's a Ferrari there as well. To be fair to that, Hugo Boss, he got out of the way lovely. And now, as things stand, it's a double podium for Andretti Cadillac. Mick Schumacher's going to pit again, as is Verstappen. Or are they? They may stay out. But look at this train of cars. It's a DRS train now, ladies and gents. Pierre Gasly has got Mick Schumacher, and my word, has he been a moving roadblock. Our two cars have been ducking left and right to get past him, but Pierre Gasly's passed him now into the stadium section, and I believe as we come back to the live action, Lando Norris is past him as well. Let's just have a quick look. Lando Norris is indeed past him, but Giovinazzi now, and Mick Schumacher's actually back in front. My word. This is as messy as I've seen. Pierre Gasly looks like he's got past Mick Schumacher here. We've got cars left, right and centre just changing positions. It's so good. It's good racing action, it must be said. But Pierre Gasly's now up into P4. Checo Perez is somehow in P3. Now he's in P3, sorry. Gasly's in P4. Norris is all the way back down in P6 behind George Russell. George Russell is now 2.7 seconds away from Gasly. I have never seen anything like this. Verstappen looks like he's going to the end. It is such a crazy Grand Prix, this. I've never seen anything like it. Lando Norris in P6, Gasly in P4. Leclerc has got this one. Verstappen's tyres surely cannot go to the end. Gasly's going to get a podium, but is he going to beat Checo Perez? Checo Perez, after everything that has happened to him today, could he possibly get on a podium at his home Grand Prix? I mean, stranger things have happened. I think this is possibly one of the most disappointing Grand Prix for Lando Norris, because he's got pace at times, then he hasn't, and now Esteban Ocon's got past him. I mean, it's just all happening here in Mexico. All we are missing at this moment is a safety car. Verstappen is massively holding up Pierre Gasly, who's now going to get a run down the DRS straight here. He's actually holding him up for George Russell. It's just crazy. And it looks like Pierre Gasly now with DRS is going to get past Max Verstappen. And I would imagine now Max Verstappen will possibly pit and let his teammate get a clear run at Pierre Gasly. My word, George Russell's tyres are dying quicker than ours. That's something to be quite happy about. Lando Norris has got a lot of work to do to get anywhere back near George Russell. And Lando Norris is back past George Russell. He had a lot of work to do. He's done the work. Beautiful work from Lando Norris, and he's now back up into, I believe that is P6. He cut him off lovely as well there, did Lando Norris. So let's have a look. Lando Norris is indeed back up into P6 and in DRS of the car in front, which I believe is Max Verstappen. He's not quite got DRS at this moment, but Lando Norris is going to be very much back in that. Pierre Gasly, is he going to catch the Ferraris? It doesn't look like it. It may be a Ferrari 1-2 today, and we have got to be aware of fuel as well. Lap 64, Lando Norris has finally got past Max Verstappen. Oh my word, as that took some time. But what that will hopefully do now, Verstappen, I think Verstappen's going to the end. He might hold his teammate up a little bit. We're on the back of the Mercedes now with Lando Norris. He's in P5. These are the standards he's set for himself. I've said it's been one of his most disappointing Grand Prix. At the moment, he's in P5 and very much looks like he could get P4. Pierre Gasly is 2 seconds in front of Esteban Ocon and will be looking to possibly try and catch Perez. We will have a push towards the end, but it might just be a little bit beyond us.
closer
And
look.
Lando Norris has got Esteban
here we are
Ocon.
following
DRS,
the Alpine.
beautifully done. And Lando Norris now up
opportunities
into
there.
P4. It's P3 and 4 for the Andretti boys. The problem is it's P1 and
Closer
2
and closer.
for the Ferrari guys, which you've got to say some result today. But Norris now hopefully can try and push away from Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon's tyres actually are in better nick than Lando Norris's, and he's got to worry about fuel as well. So it's not done yet, but Gasly looks like he's got a podium today. Penultimate lap, crash on circuit, Magnussen involved again with an Alfa Romeo Haas. I believe that's De Vries. Let's have a little look at this. Kevin Magnussen has been in the wars today. We can see the Audi Sport being very opportunist there round that couple of corners. But yeah, Gasly in P3, Norris in P4 as we come on to the penultimate lap. This final lap is going to be crucial. Final lap of the Grand Prix, and Lando Norris has got to get past Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon's just managed to get past him. He has got DRS as Lando Norris. Pierre Gasly's got this one, but he's also got to conserve fuel, Lando Norris. It's very, very close indeed. We are going to tell him to deploy here and try and get past Esteban Ocon. He's got DRS. He's using the ERS. Can Lando Norris make a move? He can't at this moment. My word, this is close. He's now okay on fuel. He's got to push on absolutely everything. Leclerc from Perez, Checo Perez, driver of the day. After the start he had has been fantastic. But Lando Norris is only going to get one last opportunity at this. And he's going to have the DRS zone into the stadium section to try and get up to P4, and it is the ex-Andretti Cadillac driver Esteban Ocon who is going to try and deny him that. Here goes Lando Norris, DRS wide open. Can he get down the inside? He looks like he's too far back, Lando Norris. It doesn't look like he's going to manage to get it. Leclerc crosses the line from Perez. Pierre Gasly gets a well-deserved podium today, but we are going to get a run down to the line, but I cannot see Lando Norris getting this. Let's have a look as we ride on board with Lando Norris. Ocon's got it. Ocon's got it beautifully. And that is that. P3 and P5. What a race for Pierre Gasly. What a race for Ferrari. Oh my word, I'm absolutely breathless. Let's get to the podium.
What a masterclass drive from Pierre Gasly today.
This podium is something the whole team can be proud of. Excellent strategy and perfectly executed.
A great display of team spirit there, as everyone finally gets the chance to share this moment. It's another career podium for Pierre Gasly, having battled really hard to earn that place.
And their podium count for this season alone now stretches to 4.
Very, very decent performance indeed from Pierre Gasly. We can see the two Ferraris on the screen. That's something that we're not too keen on seeing, as we are in a battle in the constructors with them. Checo Perez gained 18 places on the day. That is incredible, and got the fastest lap, along with having like an 11-second pit stop. Unbelievable. Leclerc from Perez, Gasly in P3, Ocon in P4. Then came Lando, Russell, Alexander Albon, Zhou Guanyu, Max Verstappen down in P9. Giovinazzi got a very decent point for Williams. Drivers standings-wise, Verstappen, as we know, is the drivers' champion. George Russell, 329 points. Lando Norris gains 2 points on him now on 294. Leclerc and Perez, 26 and 19 points gained respectively. Pierre Gasly gained 15 points on the day to stay in P6. Constructors standings-wise, Red Bull have won it. As we know, it's a battle for P2. And it must be said, I'm getting a little bit concerned. We're 27 points in front, but Ferrari are looking incredibly strong at this moment. Them 27 points might be eroded in the next Grand Prix. Let me know. Do you think that we can still get P2? I'd be delighted to hear your comments. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. What an exciting Grand Prix in Mexico. And I'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra!